Hello, this is UK Theme Parks. My name's Adam and welcome back. And yes, it's the end of the season. It's the end of the Halloween season. Oh, our favourite season of the year is over for another year. But we went in some cracking mazes this year. And we normally share a top three, but we're not going to share a top three. We're going to just share our favourite maze, our favourite location, our worst maze and our worst location for this year. Yes, we are actually going to tread there and go for our worst as well as our best because, you know, it's interesting to hear everyone else's views. People, you know, were dying for us to go to this particular place, and when we went, we were so disappointed. It was unbelievable. But we had some amazing scares and some real top-notch scares and some incredible experiences along the way as well. This is the first time we've had to kind of sit down and kind of review what we went through. Now then, for those that don't like scare mazes, I'm really sorry, you're probably not going to like this or not be interested. For those that only stick to the theme parks, you know, the theme parks do a good job, but generally they come out worse on these, and it's really highlighted this year actually that the theme parks, you know, they want to compete in the scare industry. As far as I'm concerned, they need to up their game just a little bit more. The best theme park event for us was Thorpe Park, without a shadow of a doubt, and we actually quite enjoyed their new mazes actually. So, you know, we went for press night on that. And they had a couple of returning mazes, you know, the Living Nightmare, the Walking Dead, we still think is an incredibly detailed themed maze. It's got a lovely, quick storyline, maybe a bit short, but really incredibly well themed. It just works really well. You know, they also have Saw Alive. Saw Alive is kind of renowned now for being quite an intense dark maze experience. It doesn't change, unfortunately. I'd like to see it change, but again, it does a job. They had some returning mazes in Platform 15, which has always been a bit hit and miss, to be honest, but we always find it quite creepy, especially the huge tunnel at the end. And of course that was joined by a returning maze in Blair Witch Project, which again we actually thought was a much better length, and the way you kind of interweaved in between bushes and things and a little storyline at the beginning, it just felt a lot tighter. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Really thoroughly enjoyed Blair Witch Project. And that was also by Dead Creek Woods, which was the zombie hunt area from the summer as well. You'll have seen our zombie hunt video. It's on our YouTube channel. You'll have seen what that was about. And it used kind of the same route. And we, again, really enjoyed that. You know, it was only like a 2 scare one, but we really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed it. And then it had some disasters as well. But we'll go through the disasters in a minute. But no, theme park wise, Thorpe Park, without a doubt, that we visited, we have to stress that we don't have the money time to visit every single theme park one across the country, and we know there are a lot more to visit, but you know, out of the main ones that we did, that'll be Alton Towers, that'll be Chessington, and that will be Thorpe Park. They are the major theme park ones that we did this year. We normally do a Legoland as well. We didn't actually get to Legoland this year, and we were going to venture out to some of the other ones, but sadly we just run out of time. It just simply, you know, work commitments run out of time. But on the other hand, we did do a few extra other events as well. So we actually went down to Funland to check out their maze, which was thoroughly entertaining. We went to Primeval for the first time as well. We obviously went back up to Screamfest in Burton. We went to Extreme Scream Park. We went to Tully's, and we went to the House. We went to some of the big players. And, you know, we had some mixed experiences last year, particularly at Tully's, to be fair. But this year, everywhere was pretty much on form. So let's start off with our favourite maze of the year, and our favourite maze comes from Extreme Scream Park, and those that have watched the video probably know which one it is, and it comes in the form of The Village. Oh my god, The Village. The Village was actually new last year along with Hoodoo Voodoo, although we found Hoodoo Voodoo much better last year and was actually our favourite maze of the year last year. The Village this year it just blended perfectly. So it's had some changes, it's had a few more details added, it's had a couple of animatronics, and you know, last year we went through as a stream of people and it just didn't work for us at all. This year wasn't quite like that. You know, we were alone for a lot of the period, and even when we got to the chapel, you know, it was spread out really nicely, and we just couldn't tell what was going on. The lighting seemed better, the atmosphere seemed much more eerie. You know, the actors had definitely worked on their environment a lot more this year than they had last year, and they were able to provide scares, they were able to provide you know, some real intense moments. And you know, you count with the theming as well. I mean, again, we've said it so many times, the school theming is some of the most creepiest things we've ever walked through, ever walked through. Absolutely incredible. Really enjoyed it. And you know, it's funny because it is a mixed opinion, The Village. We have read some opinions where people go, oh no, it's actually El Penitentiary, it's the best one, or no, it's the Stilton Hall Hotel, or it's this one. you know, it doesn't always be the village because people have very different experiences going through it. But when that maze is on form and, you know, the park's not too busy, if it's really, really busy, the village probably suffers slightly more than when it's kind of a, you know, 3/4 or even half capacity, and people can stagger a little bit better through there. But the village is incredible. And the problem is, of course, where it's outside, you know, people want to do it in the dark, so people don't go there till like 8 o'clock and you get different experiences. It's just the way it works, but incredible. Our #1 maze of the year, undoubtedly the village. Undoubtedly the village. But let us know what you think. What was your favourite maze, not only at Extreme Scream Park, but what was your favourite maze of 2018? UK in the comments, please. So that leads us on to our favourite event, which was Extreme Scream Park. And that's the 2nd year running that Extreme Scream Park has been our favourite event. And you know, we had a breathtaking walk through Stilton Hall Hotel, and it was really, you know, we thought that taking it, absolutely taking it. We were first through it on the night, so there was no one in front of us, no one caught us up, and it was just horrid. It was a really, really horrible experience in a great way, but a horrible experience. You know, we were walking through the rooms, they were dark, there were lights, we had no idea where the actors would be. They moved from last year, they weren't where we were expecting them to be, they weren't coming out the same place as they were last year. Yeah, really, really creepy. And you know, I always say I don't jump at mazes, but this year I've jumped more than ever, and that's a massive, massive credit to the scare industry, because you know, they are just up in their game so much across the board that, you know, they catch people out. And you know, it's not that I'm getting older, I am getting older, but it's not that I'm getting older, it's just the fact that they are just so much better now. They're so much better at appearing out of nowhere and, you know, hiding spaces, and kind of, you know, the parks are better at sucking you in with a little bit of detail on the left while you don't see the person on the right, and it just works perfectly. And it just seemed that Extreme Scream Park was a little bit of a cut above anyone else this year. But I say that, we did have some other quality ones as well. You know, our favourite new maze for this year was Insomnia at Screamfest in Burton. What a strange maze. And you know, we said it during our vlog, you know, we just think that everyone's running out of ideas, and you know, there's nothing new and there's nothing else that anyone can do. And all of a sudden someone comes up with an idea of a children's nightmare and you walk through it. I mean, it's just staggering where these things come from. But what a breathtaking, again, maze it was. The detail, you know, the storyline, you know, you had a little bit of the maze in the queue line and the story, and it was just so weird. So weird to walk through. You know, wonderful lighting, lovely sets to walk through, and it just got darker and darker and darker as you went. Whilst it felt we missed the finale on it, the rest of the maze was just brilliant, and that is something they can definitely build on for the next you know, few years. And of course, Burton is home to our previous maze of the year from 2016, which was Love Hurts, which we want to see an update in now. We desperately want to see an update in that. And you know, we just love the place, love the place, love the place, love the place. Best new one, undoubtedly Insomnia. So, you know, event-wise, it's very difficult to kind of exclude places, because we had some incredible experiences at the Howl. That was our first event of this year. You know, Squealer's Yard and the Shed are absolute staples of, you know, that place, and they are great mazes in their own right. And we didn't have a very good time at Tully's last year, there's no doubt about it. But this year, Tully's was probably the second best we went to, without a doubt. They were so back on form, it was unbelievable. The Colony, which, you know, in the past, that maze, any incarnation of that maze has been my favourite in the past. We said before, Woodshock and whatever it was after that, and have just been brilliant. And this year, the Colony was a cut above nearly everything else, apart from, you know, the village at Extreme Scream Park. The Colony was just stunning. It was perfect. It had been extended. You know, the dark rooms, the bright lights, the smoke, it was something else. How the actors work in there, we'll never know. We'll never understand how the actors work in there, but what an amazing job they did at scaring us walking through there. So the Colony, massive thumbs up. And indeed, the enhancements to the cellar as well at Tully's were a masterful touch, And of course, wherever the Circle of Horrors go, you know, we'd seen them at Fort Park before. They were there a couple of years of resident show, then out and about. You can guarantee that they're going to put on a cracking show, and they did put on a cracking show. If you haven't seen it, head over to our Tully's vlog. The show in full is in that vlog, so you can watch the Circus of Horrors. You know, Primeval was a new park for us. Some of the mazes we were a little bit unsure about, and maybe didn't affect us in the way we wanted them to affect us. But you know, still, the highlight would be the clown and spinning floor was so different. It's just not something we've seen before, to be honest with you. And you know, double tunnel and a clown maze is something else. We've been through some amazing tunnels this year, and we've been through some stunning clown mazes as well. I always said that the clown mazes we don't like, and you know, ever since saying that, they've just got better and better and better, and this year is no different. The clown mazes this year are stunning. Everywhere we've been have been absolutely amazing. So, worst. We're not afraid to hit the worst, I'm afraid, and the worst maze comes in the form of Vulcan Peak, without a shadow of a doubt. At Thorpe Park. Now, it seems to be a very rushed one, and I don't really think they needed to do it, to be honest with you. Although I have no love for I'm a Celebrity at all, and I wouldn't care if they ripped it out and we never saw it again. I just find it a complete waste of space, and it was a lovely area for a maze or even a show during the year. You know, sort of more family-based, dare I say, for Thorpe Park. But Vulcan Peak was awful, awful, awful maze. You know, bag on the head. It wasn't a bad story. I mean, it was cheaply put together. You know, the video wasn't great, to be fair. And you headed in, you had a rope, and you followed the rope, but the lights were on, so you could kind of see through. You could see the I'm a Celebrity theming where nothing had been changed. You could see people in blue tops, which was staff members, not actors, coming up to you and sort of blowing air in your face. And then towards the end, the rope kind of went up and down, and you were just looking like a I'm sure they were actually looking on their cameras, laughing at people doing that. And then as you exited, we know they changed it slightly and made it more scare maze-like. You just sort of walked through black corridors, saw the I'm a Celebrity stuff, and walked out. I know Thorpe Park wanted to go big and better, and you know, the rest of the event, honestly, really, really good. Whilst we'd love to have seen Big Top come back, you know, Do or Die, The Walking Dead, we thoroughly enjoyed that maze, particularly the opening cinema bus. We thought that was really, really strong. Really, really strong and violent start to a maze, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. We'd love to have seen the Big Top come back as another massive maze like it was, because it was arguably their best maze of last year. The rest of the event, brilliant, but Vulcan Peak, I'm afraid, really didn't work. Sadly, just didn't come off for it. You know, they had the pass in before, which was bag on head. That didn't work either. Only lasted one season, and I'll be shocked if Vulcan Peak, certainly in that form, is back for next year as well. I just don't think it will be. Now then, our worst event of this year, and this is going to be the most controversial one, which is probably going to upset some people, but it comes from Scarefest at Alton Towers. You know, we used to love Scarefest, Terror of the Towers and the Boiler Room, and there was a clown one, the name's Carnival of Screams, I think it was, Carnival of Screams, and we just loved it. We just loved the way it was thrown together. You know, you always had to sort of pay for them. You had one free, but you always had to sort of pay for them, but it's sort of 2 or 3 quid, and you know, you pay 2 or 3 quid and then you queue a couple of minutes. It would be nothing too serious, to be honest with you. But you know, this year was very, very different. You know, we had to kind of price ourselves in to go into these mazes. And you know, it kind of worked out, even with annual pass discount, more to enter here than what it would have done for us to enter 2 of the other major events. And it just makes no sense when you've got an annual pass to do that. So from the off, we're a little bit, you know, the expectations when you pay such a lot of money to go in mazes is through the roof, absolutely through the roof, and rightfully so, and it should be for yourselves as well. If you're paying extra money, you know, because not everyone will have an annual pass, then, you know, you have an expectation of what to expect. So we went in and we decided to do House of Monsters, which was a lovely theatrical show. You know, we'll give the park massive credit for this, although rides and attractions left for House of Monsters to be there. What a wonderful show it was. You know, £5, we were in there half an hour. We actually nearly missed our Project 42 outing, but what a wonderful show it was. You know, wonderful theatrics all the way through, some great effects, really interactive for the children, probably not so much for the adults. You know, we went in without the children on this occasion, but we wanted to experience it. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And then kind of went downhill a bit. So we went over to Project 42 first, which is a new maze, which is using the Sub-Terra building. And, you know, it was kind of a bit like Zombie Outbreak. You know, people have been infected and turned, and, you know, that was kind of the story as you went in. And you kind of walk the queue line, and, you know, there's people saying to me, yeah, you know, they've done great bringing props in and tightening up the queue line, everything like that. But all I saw was numbers on the floor, a dodgy lift, and everything that reminded me of Sub-Terra. You know, you walk in there, you can see the egg, and you can see whether you've ride, which I think was still in there, it was very difficult to tell, was all shut off. And yeah, it just didn't get it. And you know, you go at the end, and there was the normal corridor you walk through, which was a scare maze before, and there's an extended scare maze on it as well. But it was so short. You know, this was three mazes, sorry, for 20 quid. That's just so short, really, really short, and it just wasn't worth the money. Well, there was no scares in there. It was a bit too open because, you know, where it used to be a ride, it's not that enclosed, to be honest. There are a couple of spaces where it's a little bit enclosed towards the end, and you know, the finale arguably was the best finale out of all the 3 mazes that they've got. But no, I'm sorry. When you're paying good money for mazes, you know, you want decent length and you want decent quality than when they're actually part of the theme park ticket. So Project 42, not good, not good. We then went to Subspecies. Now, oddly enough, we did Subspecies. We've done it before, and we came out of it before feeling really let down by it and not really enjoying it as well. And everyone's like, no, it's amazing. It's like tight and it's dark, and you know, they come at you and everything like that. And it's like, yes, they do, but you know, it has a decent length, arguably probably the best length of all the mazes. But in saying that, that's because you go around in circles quite a lot. So there's multiple routes, and you're kind of sent round, and you know, we ended up with one of the actors, you know, just sending us around in a circle. Quite honestly, it got boring. It got boring walking around in a circle trying to find our way out of this maze. You know, any scares, because the same actor was there every time we walked around. We must have gone around about 5 times before going through an actor bit to go somewhere else because they'd shut the door. No idea why. And you know, they're trying to scare us from the same place each time. It just really got a bit like, just let's move on through the maze. You know, they say you'll get split up, but the chances are you end in the same place. You know, there's different tunnels and things. The way it's put together actually is very clever, and I understand why people like it because of the way it's put together. And it's like, oh my god, we're going to get split up. And the instant you say to a group of people, particularly screaming people, whether it be boys or girls, that you're going to get split up, you know, it's mass panic and it's mass everything. And that's kind of the way they play it. That's really the way they do it. But I was just a bit bored in it. There was no scares. You know, it heavily relies on the fact that it's dark. You know, when we got to the rope section and it's pitch black, I didn't see the rope. Someone actually had to point the rope out for me, you know, and we've been in other mazes where ropes are required, and there's a massive sign on the wall saying hold rope. I didn't see anything. And you know, there was something there, it just wasn't big enough because I'm used to going through these mazes. I just didn't see anything. And you know, people in front didn't see anything either, because I overtook about 8 people going through that bit where they were just struggling along. So it was just really poorly executed, getting through there. And at the end, you know, we got to the end and you're supposed to have a guy with a chainsaw going out, and you know, even though the maze is in constant use, he'd stopped the chainsaw and he went to get it going in front of us and went, it ain't gonna happen. That's his words, it ain't gonna happen. And we just walked out. And you know, again, it ain't gonna happen when you've spent on average £7 to go through a maze. Just isn't good enough. Just really isn't good enough. So Subspecies, disappointed, really disappointed. Now we saved the Autumnville Mine Tours for last because when we did actually do that one, we thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, we've heard the lighting technology has come along really well, and you know, it's going to be fantastic and everything like that. And we went in, and you know, let's put it this way, it is the best themed maze there, undoubtedly. You look like you're in a maze, you know, in a mine, sorry, for the whole time, without a doubt. Look like you're in a mine. And you know, it's very well decorated. It's quite low ceilings. It's quite you know, quite tight. But we took the wrong route 3 times. Twice we went through actor sections, and one of the other times we just went the wrong way. And, you know, actors are pointing us and turning us around. Now, you know, you might blame us for that, which is fine. But if you're going the wrong way through a maze, then it's not laid out very well. I'm really sorry. It's just not laid out very well at all. Because you shouldn't have the opportunity to go through the wrong bit. It should be, you know, even if you're looking around, it should be really obvious which way you had to go, and it just wasn't obvious which way we had to go. You know, we had 3 lights, people got split up, you know, they can say stay together, but when it's dark and the lights are flashing on and off, it's very difficult. 2 of the lights broke, so we were just literally fondling around trying to find our way through. And again, it just felt really let down by it. And you get to the end, and the finale is the gift shop, and there's just a woman standing there saying, "You want your gifts?" You know, in a kind of scary voice, and it's like, where's the finale? What's the finale in this? There's nothing in there apart from some woman, and you walk outside, and again, you just think, that was £7. We didn't take the opportunity to do the welcoming. Based on that experience, we didn't take the opportunity to do the welcoming. Just didn't see the point. So, I understand people love Scarefest, I really, really do, and the Alton Towers fan sites are like all over this, like a rash, absolutely all over this, like the best event in the world. But I'm really sorry, it's just not. You know, Burton is a few miles down the road. You know, Extreme Screen Park is only a certain amount of space, time down the road as well, and they're just a cut above, cheaper, cut above than what Alton Towers offers. And you know, when you take into account the queues for the rides and things as well, it just didn't seem very good value for money. Even though we had annual passes, didn't seem very good value for money. There's so many better events up and around the country. So our worst event sadly goes to Alton Towers. But again, let us know in the comments below, what do you think? Did you visit them? Did you visit Alton Towers? Did you visit Extreme Screen Park? Did you visit some of the other ones? You know, where should we be heading next year? Let us know in the comments below where you think we should be heading. But best new maze goes to Insomnia. Worst maze goes to Vulcan Peak. Worst park goes to Alton Towers. Best park goes to Extreme Screen Park. And our favourite maze of the year was the Village. Now, we can't wait for Halloween next year. We know it's not necessarily lights on the channel, but we love Halloween and we'll continue to follow it as well. And also, I forgot that we went to Portons Park. Now, it's very, very difficult with Portons Park. It's not designed for kind of scares or anything like that. Obviously, it's a lovely family park, but the Boo Barn was fantastic. Really, really interactive and fantastic. So we're not going to include it in the maze. I think it was more, it felt more like a theatrical show than what it did a maze. You know, because you could freely walk in and out and spend as much time as you like in there. But, you know, best attraction, kind of outside of, you know, scare maze or anything like that, would go to the Boo Barn at Portons Park, without a shadow of a doubt. We just had so much fun in there with all the pumpkins, all the details, you know, the little jokes, the lovely little touches, you know, the animatronics. We loved it. So yeah, massive thumbs up to Portons Park. We had a fantastic day there. We always do at the children's parks because they're just so light-hearted and great entertainment. And you know, you can kind of let yourself go and not go too seriously. So yeah, Portons Park, best one. And of course, best show as well. It's worth mentioning best show. Undoubtedly goes to Chessington, World of Adventures and Halloween Live. What a cracking show that is. It's the best show I've ever seen at Chessington, and you know, that should hold some merit because we've been visiting Chessington since 1990. So Halloween Live, we just loved it. You know, proper live show, really interactive, all singing, all dancing, about 26 minutes long. You can find it on our YouTube channel, but they would have the best show. And it goes to prove that you can't just go to one place for everything. You know, there's a different place for scares, there's a different place for family entertainment, there's a different place for shows, places I'd avoid, and you know, there's just places that are just amazing all round. So that's our Halloween review. Please leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. Let us know where you went, what you enjoyed, and indeed where you think we should target next year. Because next year we're going to plan a little bit better. We want to do more than ever next year. We certainly want to get to some of the theme parks. We nearly got to Fantasy Island, very, very nearly, but not quite, sadly. And we nearly got down to Screamland as well. So there are others we want to do. Let us know. My name's Adam, this has been UK Theme Parks, and we'll see you next time.